Good evening and welcome to tonight's special documentary Speaking Ourselves, the Role of Language in Shaping Identity. In a world as diverse and interconnected as ours, language is more than just a way to communicate, but it is a powerful tool that shapes who we are. Tonight, we'll be exploring the intricate link between language and self-perception. Have you ever noticed how the words we use to describe ourselves influence the way we feel, the choices we make, and even the dreams we dare to chase? Language can build us up, but it can also hold us back. It's a profound shaper of self-esteem, confidence, and our sense of belonging. We'll be speaking with experts, sharing personal stories or experiences, and examining research that reveals how language affects our sense of self, our aspirations, and the way we navigate the world through the interview session. Join us as we delve deeper into this topic. Stay tuned as we uncover the ways of language influence our self-identity and how it might be shaping our future even in ways we don't yet realize. Nur Alia binti K33003, a 21 years old student from Al-Bukhari International University. Nur Alia has shown a keen interest in languages, and let us find out her journey with language learning and its impact on her studies and daily life.
In your opinion, what do you think about the statement language shapes identity?
Okay, so in my opinion, the statement language shapes identity is true because the language does more than help us to communicate. It reflects who we are and where we come from. The language connects us to our culture, traditions, and values. For example, the words and expressions that we use can show how we see the world and how we care about it.
Do you believe that language influences everyone's identity equally, or could it depend on other factors?
Okay, for me, language doesn't influence everyone's identity in the same way. It often depends on some factors. For example, language skills. People who speak a language fluently might feel a stronger connection to it. But for those who less fluent may feel it impacts of their identity. And for the second is factor environment. If someone grow up in a place that values their native language, they might feel it's an important part of who they are. But in a multicultural setting, the different language may shape their identity. And the third factor is daily use. For some language, it is a way to communicate, but for others, it has a deep cultural or emotional value. So how much language shape identity varies by experience and surroundings people.
What specific difficulties do you encounter in acquiring or using a new language, and how do you overcome them?
Learning a new language has its challenges, and here are some I face and how I handle them. With a first, grammar. To help, I will make a notes and practice with example sentences. The second is how I build my vocabulary. I know everyone to remember a new words can be tough, but for me, how I handle, I keep a note for a new words and try to use them in daily sentences. For the third is speaking every day. I practice by myself to speaking, and then I will use language apps like Hello, and then I will talking with fluent speakers. So for me, consistent and practice is a key to overcoming these challenges.
Nur binti Muhammad, 47 years old, a dedicated teacher and a proud parent, which brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to our documentary. With years of life experience, Nur hasn't only devoted herself to the education of young minds, but also to raising her own family.
Okay, Assalamualaikum Puan. Apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah baik.
Okay, jadi kita mulakan sesi temu ramah kita. Jadi soalan pertama saya, bagaimanakah pendekatan anda terhadap pembelajaran dan penggunaan bahasa menyumbang kepada perkembangan jati diri dan budaya anak-anak anda?
Baik, yang pertama, saya menggalakkan anak-anak supaya menonton rancangan di televisyen seperti cerita kartun pembelajaran pembelajaran kanak-kanak, terutamanya dalam bahasa Inggeris dan juga bahasa Arab. Yang keduanya ialah saya membantu dengan menyediakan set pembelajaran dalam bahasa Inggeris seperti set Siti pembelajaran bahasa Inggeris dan juga set buku-buku daripada syarikat yang terkenal terutamanya dalam bahasa Inggeris.
Okay, soalan seterusnya. Apakah halangan khusus yang anda hadapi dalam membesarkan kanak-kanak dua bahasa atau berbidang bahasa dan bagaimana anda menanganinya?
Baik, halangan yang pertama yang saya hadapi ialah daripada diri saya sendiri lah, yang kurang mahir dalam peribahasa ni, terutamanya bahasa Inggeris dan juga bahasa Arab. Oleh itu, cara saya untuk mengatasi masalah pembelajaran bagi anak-anak ini ia dengan memberi sepenuh sokongan dan juga sentiasa mencuba berkomunikasi dengan mereka dalam bahasa Inggeris maupun bahasa Arab bagi perkataan-perkataan yang simple.
Baiklah, soalan terakhir. Bagaimanakah bahasa boleh memperkatakan anak-anak anda untuk meluahkan fikiran, perasaan dan kreativiti mereka?
Okey, pada pandangan saya, apabila mereka boleh bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris maupun dalam bahasa Arab ini, dia telah memberi satu keyakinan yang tinggi pada anak-anak untuk mereka boleh berkomunikasi dan bercakap dengan sesiapa sahaja dengan menggunakan bahasa Inggeris maupun dalam bahasa Arab.
Okay, baiklah, terima kasih kerana sudi meluangkan masa.
Dr. Nur binti Ismail, a respected lecturer at University Sultan Zainal Abidin, with her extensive experience in academic, Dr. Nur offers an extensive expertise and meaningful insights for our discussion. As an educator, she plays a key role in shaping young minds and fostering a passion for learning.
Okay, my name is Nur binti Ismail. I'm a senior lecturer in English language, ELL, English Language Center, Faculty of Languages Communication.
So first of all, my question for this interview, in your opinion, how does language actually shapes our sense of self?
That's a very interesting question. Okay, not many, especially the young ones, realize that actually yes, language actually is the base or is the ground that shapes you up. You know, in what way that language, in a way, portrays our identity is obviously the language that we use, the tone that we use, the choice of word that we use, and it can signify who we are. For instance, I guess all of us are asking ourselves, are we introvert, extrovert, ambivert, right? So what makes us fall into that category? Isn't it? So they talk about personality, but what shapes the personality is actually the language. Because we know that language can be verbal and non-verbal. Because even if we use non-verbal more than we use the verbal when we communicate, still people are assessing and people are, signaling their identity.
For my second question, how does language shapes our perception of others?
What are the tools that make us want to perceive people that way? What are the tools? So the tools will always be language. Language can be how they talk to oneself, for instance, when you give answers to questions. Okay? Or the other way is when you interact with others. So it's a two-way communication, can also be assessed, can also be perceived. How you react to the question, what kind of language that you use, or language is very general, right? Or what choice of word that you choose to respond to that discussion or dialogue whatsoever, and what kind of emotion that you express. So it's always language. When you present yourself in the class, will be in the formal situation, isn't it? So different when you are in the real context, when you are in the society. So if you are in the society, when you are with your friends, you have another persona. When you are with your family, you have another persona. Definitely, the persona more or less might be different, but what tie them is always the language, be it verbal or non-verbal. So in what way that language play the role so that we perceive people is through how you interact with people.
Let's sum up our interview. For our first interview, we asked her about her opinion about what did she think about the statement language shape identity. She said that language helps us more than to communicate because it reflects who we are and where we come from. And it also connects us to our cultural and tradition values. Move on to the second question to her. Did she believe that language influences everyone equal identity and equally or equally depend on other factors? She said that language doesn't influence everyone's identity in the same way. And the last question that we asked is, what specific difficulties that she made to encounter acquiring and using a new language, and how did she she overcome with that problem. She said that she will learn grammar and add her vocabulary and also do a speaking practice. For the second interview, first question that we asked her is about how does she approach to the language learning and usage contribute to the development of her children's identity and culture. She said she encouraged to watch English TV shows and preparing a helpful material in English. Come to the next question is what specific challenge that she need to face in raising bilingual or multilingual children and how she addressed them. She said that she is not so good in multi-language and she did a solution which is be supportive and always try to communicate in English or other language with her kids. And last question to her is how can language empower her children's feeling to express their thought, feelings and also creativity. She said she always gives high confidence to children to communicate, not to be shy with people, to speak their self. For the last person that we have interviewed, we asked her about her opinion, how does language shape our sense of self? She said that language is the base or ground that shapes us. What portrays our identity is the language, our tone, our choice of word that we use every day. And language can signify who we are. And the last question for her is, how does language shape our perceptions of others? She said that language can be how they talk to oneself. The way we interact with others, two-way communication can also be perceived, like how you react to the question, what are the choice of words that you use to respond to people, and also what kind of emotion that you express when you're talking to someone.
There are some causes why some people say language shapes identity. So, the first causes is language as a social tool. Why? Because language is not just a medium of communication, but a social tool that individuals use to engage with their environment. According to sociocultural theory, language serves as a bridge that connects the individual to their community, also allowing them to internalize social norms, values, and expectations. This internalization process shapes self-perception as individuals come to see themselves through the lens of their cultural and linguistic environment. So, the second causes is cultural norms are embedded in language. Language carries cultural expectation and values. For example, some cultural place a high emphasis on respect and humility in language use, affecting how individuals view themselves and behave. By shaping how individuals communicate, language can influence how they see their place in society and the goals they believe are attainable, thereby affecting their aspirations.
So, what is the solutions for this issue? We have prepared two ideas that can help this issue. First is language validation or marginalization by Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture. This is because when one person's native language or dialect is respected by an authority like ministry, they will feel more valued. Speakers of minority language and regional dialects says that they gain self-esteem when their language is being appreciated in education or media. But when they're being looked down, they will think negative about their self and that makes their own identity getting vanished. Next is representation by local successful role models. When we see someone that successful speak confidently in their own language, it can boost self-esteem and confidence in others' language. When we don't have any representative for one language, it can make the native speaker of that language feel less confident and think they cannot do like others. They will think that they will not treasure out their own capability and own uniqueness. And from that, their self-identity will slowly disappear if they didn't treasure out their own specialness.
As we come to the end of our documentary, we have journeyed through the many ways language impacts our life and shapes our identities. Language isn't just a tool for communication, but it is deeply connected to who we are and how we view the world. Today, we are reminded of the importance of embracing inclusivity and diversity in our language use. When we recognize and respect the linguistic diversity around us, we build bridges of understanding and strengthen our communities. Let's continue to cherish the role language which plays a vital role in enriching our human experience. That wraps up this evening documentary. Thanks for watching. Stay informed and stay engaged with us. Thank you.